these have been rough times for all of us. And one of the things that have helped me get through it is recording podcasts with my friends virtually. And we would not be able to distribute our podcast as widely as we've had the opportunity to without Anchor. And if you haven't heard about Anchor, you need to. Especially if you want to get into the podcasting game. It's a free-to-use website and app that you could get started with to get your podcast going. They have a bunch of creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast both from your computer and also your phone, which is wild. And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. The list is kind of endless. And you can actually make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So please, if you're interested in making a podcast, I'm sure some of you guys are out there. It's basically what the millennials do at this point anyway. So, get with the trend. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey guys, so a couple hours ago we finished recording the podcast, and in our news segment we talked about the Washington NFL team. And we talked about that they are going to be formally changing their name. We talked about that there's a few executives leaving, a prominent announcer leaving. And we also talked about a Washington Post article that was being teased by various members of the Washington media. And it turns out that article came out, it ended up coming out a few hours after we finished recording. And it turns out that it involves 15 women accusing the organization of sexual harassment. And considering that we were very ignorant of these accusations at all when we talked about all these news items, it just didn't feel right to keep it in there as part of our news segment, because it just would be both outdated, and we had some fun, making fun of the organization. And it just didn't feel right to put that in there, considering the seriousness of the situation that it has evolved into. So that segment has been cut. What you guys are going to hear instead is going to be our intro, and then it's going to cut to us talking about the contracts that were awarded to Chris Jones and Derrick Henry and Myles Garrett and all that. So that's just it's a terrible situation, and we'll have more to say about it in next week's podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a great day. Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend Matt.
Do you ever look at someone and feel like they're the type of person who gets offended when you say that Waluigi shouldn't be in Smash Bros?
We all have that one individual in our lives. What is your opinion on the matter? I'd be curious.
I don't give a shit, but it's just the obsession. It's okay if he's not in. He doesn't need your respect. Or Nintendo's respect. He's just a dude.
I mean, I think it's like a... I don't know. I think people get obsessed about specific characters for, just whatever reason, that they're, like, their charisma, or just their goofiness, or just the absurdity
or whatever, or there's like a subgroup of people that makes it popular, and then it spreads out to the masses of the internet, and then suddenly everything is cake.
Well, yeah, that's a thing. It is kind of like, I'm not against the idea of him being a fighter, but at the same time, it's like, I think I feel like if Waluigi's already in the game, so I don't really understand why he needs to be a fighter as well. I guess. Yeah. I guess that's not necessarily my idea.
I also think I've just moved on in my old age of 24. I moved on from video game discourse as much as possible.
Meaning that like because it gets a little bit annoying.
Well, it's like I'm not saying that people shouldn't be passionate and people shouldn't be interested in things on on things that they're excited about, but there just comes a point where it's like, relax. The world will continue moving if Waluigi isn't in Smash. The world will be okay if Paper Mario doesn't return to its original form. I know you're disappointed, but there's more important shit to worry about.
Yeah. It's well, I hope maybe that there will be a podcast sometime in the future that just kind of talks about how much we enjoy video games instead of just talking about the news and business of things, and complaining all the time. I wonder if that podcast will come out maybe in the next few weeks. We'll see.
That sounds like a great podcast. I wish I was listening to it right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it might have something to do with birds. I don't know.
Birds or some shit.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But welcome everyone to this podcast, The Virtual Ball Boys. Hope everyone had a nice week. It's the first time that we're having back-to-back episodes in a week's time, which is nice. And we're going to be continuing to do so as we lead up to the season, ?
Season.
And we have a lot to do today. We have two teams that we're going to start working on. We were going to start the roster assignments for the Virtual Ball Boys Football League last week, but we didn't have enough time, so we're going to try to do two teams this week. But of course, if time comes an issue, we will just push off one of the teams to next week. But in the meantime, we do have a little bit of news to talk about, so let's talk about it. This was the franchise tag week, which a lot of people kind of, I'm sure, forgot about, but anyone who was franchise tagged back in March this was the deadline to get the contract extensions for them, and so out of the, I want to say 13, 14 players that were tagged, only 2 got extensions, and we'll start with Chris Jones of Kansas City Chiefs, who got a 4-year, $85 million deal, including $60 million in guarantees. And so Chris Jones was one of the best, if not the best, defensive player on the Chiefs. And then we had a surprise at the last minute with Derrick Henry getting a 4-year, $50 million contract, which included $25.5 million guaranteed, meaning that the Titans have gotten Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill side long term. So for the Chiefs and the Titans, what do you think about these two deals?
I think for the Chiefs, it makes a lot of sense. You just paid Mahomes, so you may not necessarily have a ton of money, but with the joke of the Chiefs having this insanely good offense and then a terrible defense, having at least one or two really solid defensive players in Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu is a very good investment for them. Derrick Henry deserved this bank. Glad he got it.
Yeah. And considering all the other issues that the Titans might have to deal with this year, their offensive line being a little bit on the thinner side, their pass rush maybe not being as good this year, this is a good step for them to kind of secure some really good franchise players on the offensive side of the ball. And yeah, like you said with the Chiefs, I mean, their defense got better as the season went on. In terms of the playoffs, it was kind of like their defense didn't show up in the first half, but then the second half of those games came and forget it. It was all lower for every single team they faced.
The 3 games in a row being down by at least 10, and then winning by at least 10.
Basically, that's how it all went. Like,
yeah,
it was like kind of those adjustments, and Chris Jones was a massive aspect of that. So that was important for them to get that deal done. There was rumor that Chris Jones might get traded, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen anymore because he is locked in And real quick, just to go through who was franchised but did not get any long-term deal. The list includes Dak Prescott, AJ
I'm going to make
Green.
fun of Dak Prescott at the end of this.
Okay, Dak Prescott, AJ Green, Hunter Henry, Brandon Sheriff, Joe Tooney, Matt Judon, Yannick Ngakoue, Larry Williams, Bud Dupree, Shaq Barrett, Justin Simmons, and Anthony Harris. Any thoughts on any of these? I think you mentioned who you want to talk about.
So, when the whole Zeke stuff was happening last year, I think I said something about the Cowboys are going to sink all their money into him and doom the franchise, and so they did. And then earlier this offseason, they gave money to Amari Cooper. And then they looked at Dak and shrugged their shoulders, and like the Zeke, I get. Amari Cooper is not the franchise wide receiver that you're looking for, my dude. So the fact that Cooper got paid and Dak didn't is really funny. The Cowboys are another horribly run organization like their NFC East counterparts.
Yeah, the Dak. I don't really understand what's been the holdup of paying Dak.
And honestly, like if they, because the thing that I would feel like Jerry Jones would do is literally make Dak the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. That's what Dak would want to look for. Beyond what, and I know the Mahomes thing just happened, but that just seems to be the Dallas ego that happens, and
sure.
It will doom the franchise.
Like,
and I really want to see it happen just because of how dumb it is.
Yeah, like Dak, I just don't understand why you wouldn't pay Dak. I'm not as low on Amari Cooper, but I do agree though that like you chose between Dak and Amari Cooper, and at first it seemed like you chose Dak by giving Dak the franchise tag, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, we're gonna sign Amari Cooper to this big old extension. And so that we get to keep both players, but then you just made one player like that. Then it basically looked like you chose Amari over Dak, which is very strange, especially considering that you basically then added to that wide receiver room with drafting that guy from LSU. I forget his name. It wasn't LSU.
It was CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. Okay, Oklahoma. That's right.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. Like you drafted CeeDee Lamb. And
who's a really good wide receiver?
And you have Michael Gallup there, but hey, yeah, sure, let's invest more money into Amari Cooper. I know Dak Prescott with the franchise tag is probably gonna get more money, but I'm just saying that like, you know, who would you want more secure for your team for the future, Dak Prescott or Amari Cooper? Right now, it's Amari Cooper, and you look ridiculous because of it. You know,
I hate the Cowboys.
It's a little ridiculous. I'll just say regarding the Giants and Leonard Williams, God damn it, Giants! I don't care that you. I just want to reiterate what I said back in March, is that this team traded multiple draft picks to the Jets, a team that they have not really traded before. In fact, I think that was the first ever trade between the two franchises to get Leonard Williams, who is a mediocre at best, defensive player. And then because they didn't want to just let him go just in the offseason, they decided to franchise tag him. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't sign him to a long-term deal, but you just poured so much money into the guy, and it's just the model of which the Giants are going to try to approach their defense this year by having these giant players on the defensive line, which just has not worked in recent times. It's gonna suck ass again. Dave Gettleman has sunken this franchise. The NFC East, please Eagles, save this NFC East. This is where we're at the moment.
They gotta keep their offense healthy.
I know. Goddamn Eagles. Well, here's the thing. The Cowboys, their whole pay situation's bad. They're a fucking dope team this year, though, so I don't want to roll them
Honestly, yeah.
so I don't want to like roll them out either. I just, in terms of incompetency, Eagles keep it.
I'm just talking about like the recent future of the franchise.
Yes,
does not look good.
Yeah. And one more extension to talk about that kind of came out of nowhere was Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, obviously, the franchise defensive player for the Browns, and we last saw hitting the Steelers quarterback in the helmet, with his helmet. So it got suspended for the rest of the year. The Browns are committed to him. They've signed him to a 5-year, $125 million extension with $100 million in guarantees. Got a $21 million signing bonus as well. Your thoughts? Any thoughts on this?
He's forever going to be tainted, and rightfully so, by the assault that he did.
Yes.
I don't know, like... This makes me like the Browns less. Not that I like the Browns very much to begin with, but yeah.
It is the whole situation, the whole saga is weird. On the same front, to me it is. You could dislike what he did, and I absolutely do, and I think it's wrong what he did. It was awful. On the same note, I think the Browns would have been burnt either way. If they chose not to sign Myles Garrett, they would have been torched to oblivion. And if they did sign Myles Garrett, they're gonna get torched to oblivion. Like, they're in a lose-lose situation. And to me, if you have a great defensive player, and you have the guy has shown that he can be great and had a really terrible lapse of judgment on that day, maybe he has learned his lesson, and we could see how it goes. I mean, it was his first time offense on that front.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But Myles Garrett, I'm okay with the fact that they signed him, and we'll see how that goes for them moving forward. The next item, real quick. We mentioned on that franchise tag list, Yannick Ngakoue. There was a report that I wish I could find again. I think it was Tom Pelissero that reported this from NFL Network, who said that Yannick Ngakoue, there's been a lot of discussions about trades for him. People do not expect him to play another down for the Jaguars. He's on the brink of being traded. But to whom and for what is the question. And there were some deals thrown out there during this whole franchise tag deadline process. And one of the deals that were offered to the Jaguars turned down, was that one of the teams that they negotiated with was offering a Pro Bowler in exchange for Yannick Ngakoue. And my question is, who is that team? What is that Pro Bowler? And why would the Jaguars turn down another Pro Bowl caliber player, if this is a Pro Bowl caliber player still, and not take that deal in order to keep a guy who has now refused to be on the team?
It's just weird, dude. I don't know what the whole situation with him is going to be. I'm sure they're going to trade him at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to how to address this.
I mean, most likely, I see Yannick getting traded like the weekend of how like the last few years we've had like the blockbuster trade of defensive player, like the weekend before the kickoff, in back-to-back years with
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack and Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
In back-to-back years, I think that your next Pro Bowl caliber, All Pro caliber defensive player in Yannick Ngakoue is going to be traded that weekend, and I don't know.
Speaking of Clowney doesn't have a team yet.
He still does not have a team. No,
Yeah.
He's been most connected to the Seahawks and the Titans. That's the last time we've heard about him. No idea what's happening. I think that it may be a result of what's happening with COVID, or that people just don't know how to, how to use him. Maybe I'm not entirely too sure why he hasn't been signed. I'm just gonna recklessly throw out a guess as to who was gonna trade for Yannick Ngakoue. I'm gonna guess it was the Arizona Cardinals, and that they were going to trade Larry Fitzgerald to the Jaguars, and the Jaguars said no, because in the reporting it says that he doesn't fit their system, that this particular Pro Bowl player that we do not know of. And I just wonder if maybe they decided to not take Larry Fitzgerald because he's old.
I am accepting of that theory. And that, I mean, if Larry currently fits the Cardinals' system of losing all the time, that would fit well into the Jaguar system.
I guess so.
That is very disrespectful to the greatness that is Larry Fitzgerald, but, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And last bit of news, Kenny Stills was arrested in I believe it was in Louisville. He was facing a felony charge after participating in a protest at the home of Kentucky's Attorney General. This protest, of course, was for Breonna Taylor and seeking justice for the murderers that are still out on the street. It's kind of surprising that's a felony, because I would like to know how it got to that level, because usually those are reserved for like violent crimes.
Yeah.
It seemed the NFL community kind of rallied around him. Deshaun Watts' agent, I thought was funny. He tweeted out like a photo that said, if you just look at the Twitter if you see the photo on Twitter, it says breaking news: Deshaun Watson nearing a contract extension, and if you click on the photo, you see the rest of the photo saying, okay, now that I have your attention, Breonna Taylor's killers are still out there. Please, we need to get these guys arrested, or whatever it was.
Nice.
Yeah, Kenny Stills doing the work. I don't know, I forget if he's out on bond or bail or not. But
I'm sure he'll post it.
Yeah. Okay, he was. I'm reading the article. He was released from jail on Wednesday, and still stood by his message that we just want justice. Still said, we just want Breonna Taylor's killers arrested, and that is, and I mean, I think my only comment on that is, keep on fighting that fight, man. We're all with you, and I think the NFL community is standing by Kenny Stills as well, in fighting that fight as well. And just a reminder, if anyone wants to contribute at all to the Black Lives Matter movement, we've been putting the link to a lot of different resources to the Black Lives Matter causes in the description to the podcast. Make sure you do so. It is very important to get involved and get informed. All right. With that said, that's the end of the news. It's time to do some roster assignments.
Let's do it.
So we are going to focus on two teams, like we said earlier, the East Chicago Blacksmiths, and if we have the time, we're going to do the Mansfield Weavers as well. So we're just going to go line by line and talk about the players. There's going to be some that we do not know, and we're going to learn a little bit more about. There's some that we do relatively know because we've played the series, but of course we'll explain for those who don't know the players as well. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start off with Robin right out the bat. How much... I don't know Robin too well. Do you know Robin well?
Yeah, I played the game that Robin's from. So Robin is the protagonist of Fire Emblem Awakening. They're the player character. I'm going to use they because you can choose male or female version.
That's true. I'm used to the female version, but I forgot that that's a gender bend one. Okay.
Yeah. So either one works. We'll just use they.
Yeah.
So they're known as a strategist. The idea is they're the ones who are like calling the shots in battle. They can use magic, relatively smart, and I felt like that's why quarterback fit really well.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of that, I definitely think, like, I don't see the stats varying super wildly, these types of stats, so not going too high in one direction.
Like maybe a little bit more of a balanced character overall.
Yeah, like no more than +or -2 in either direction.
Okay. I mean, I think we could do maybe like a +2 for offense, -1 minus
1 for defensive ball handling.
Yeah, and then a +1 for or maybe for -1 for ball handling, I guess. Yeah, I mean if you unless you want to have a higher ball handling stat for a quarterback.
It depends. I mean, when I think of ball handling, I think of usually running backs or wide receivers.
Yeah.
Obviously not fumbling for quarterbacks is important.
Yeah, okay, we could keep it like that. It's not a terrible ball handling stat, but that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is the other quarterback on the East Chicago Blacksmiths, Leon Kuwata. All right, so let's learn.
All right.
I think this is one that neither of us know well.
Yeah, I know. So this is from Danganronpa.
Okay.
The school murder game.
Yes. Oh, he's scary looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Hope's Peaks Academy's Class 78th. And a participant in the Killing School live featured in Danganronpa. Trigger Happy Havoc. Okay.
He is a baseball star, it looks like.
Okay.
That's like his... So in Danganronpa, this is like a little bit that I know about it. Each character has their own kind of specialty. They're, like... I think it's super high school level wank.
Mm.
Or ultimate in English. So he's the baseball star.
So, and he's also a murderer. Apparently,
I mean, most of them are murders.
Everyone is a murderer in this one.
So the premise of the series is everyone is trapped by Chris McClane, aka Monokuma, the black and white bear.
Chris McClane. Okay, yeah.
And they have to they're only allowed to get free if they do one of two things. I think it's just they have to kill someone and get away with it.
Wow.
So the game is about trying to figure out who did the murder, because if someone kills someone, there's a trial. When the trial happens, if the person isn't found guilty, then they get to go free and everyone else dies.
Huh. Wow, that is some fucked up shit right there.
Oh, it is. I do want to point out that his pitch is clocked at 160 kilometers per hour.
Is that good?
I mean, it's 160.
I don't know measurements.
But in miles per hour, that's 99. So, like, that's a damn good pitch.
That is a damn good pitch. Okay.
Especially for a teenager.
So, all right. So he's fast. He's fast with the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I like expected. We'd give him like maybe like a strong offensive stat. I think would be good here, or either strong offense or strong ball handling. It's up to what do you think? Like, do you think? What do you think is his on his? Because they're very emphasis on the fact that even though it says here he slacks off from studying in baseball practice, however his skills have never diminished due to his status as in all capital letters ultimate baseball star.
Yes.
Which is funny to me. So I mean, how do you see this going? Like in terms of between those two?
We could do it pretty high. We could dump a lot of it into one stat, like do a plus 3 or 4 in offense.
Okay, I think I like +4 for offense.
Okay,
and then we'll maybe the ball handling is not as good for his. Not as good. Yeah, for his.
Yeah, so we could do minus 1 or 2 for that.
Yeah, we could do. Let's do minus let's do -2.
Okay.
And then we'll do -2 for defense.
-2 defense. Cool. All right.
All right. Good old Toad.
Toad, my boy.
All right. So for those who don't know Toad, Toad is a small, mushroom-headed character from the Mario series. Very helpful. Has the ability to at least Captain Toad has the ability to explore. But Toad as a character is more so just an assistant to the character. Toad's kind of makeup, I'm pretty sure, like the Toadstool Army, according to like the like Mario Galaxy and stuff. They're just generally the servants to Princess Peach. So what's your thoughts?
I think that.
Excuse me.
I think definitely ball handling is going to be on the higher side. He does have tiny arms though.
He does have tiny arms.
Yeah,
is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thing. That's the thing with both of the running backs here, is that they're definitely good for maybe like being elusive, but I feel like with both characters, Toad and Waddle Dee of the Kirby series, that they might drop the ball relatively easy. I don't know if they have a negative ball handling stat, but I don't think
should we just do 0?
I think 0 for Toad.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. For offense though, I'll give him. I think like a 3 is good, which would give him a -3 defense, which to me makes sense because Toad is a small boy.
Yeah, you could run over Toad very easily.
Like whatever offensive stat that he has, balances things out. So then Toad is 3, and then you had -3 for defense, and then 0. Cool. All right, moving on to Waddle Dee. So Waddle Dee is kind of like the signature basic character, like basic enemy of Kirby. Like it's kind of like the Goomba of the Kirby series. Really has no special abilities unless it has a weapon. With it, just kind of walks around, kind of cute. I think Waddle Dee definitely has speed to him. Definitely can run fast. The Waddle Dee also has, I think, has carried things well over the years, like spears. He's known for carrying a spear around a lot. Being relatively good at that. They carry fruit to the King DDD a lot as well.
Very, very supportive.
Yeah, so I think that even though I know I mentioned the ball handling might be lower for this one too, but I think I would give it like a 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm fine with that
for ball handling.
We'll do a 1 for now. We can change it.
Yeah, and then offense, we have. I think offense. I put it lower than Toad. I would say 2.
2?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another -3 for defense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for Waddle Dee as well.
Yeah.
Waddle Dee can be easily killed. It's just the truth.
It's just the facts.
Yeah. All right. Sable from Animal Crossing. Sable is the sewer at Able Sisters, the Able Sisters shop, known for telling. It takes a while to get them to get her to talk to you, but she then delves into deep stories about herself, her and Mabel growing up, and she kind of is like the source of many of the lore of Able Sisters as a whole in the franchise. Now, I don't know her athletic feats that she's done because, quite honestly, I think I've only seen her like not behind her desk once, and it was during the Able Sisters opening ceremony in my town of New Horizons. Like that's the only time I've ever seen her, like basically seen her legs.
I believe you are correct.
So, but with that said, I imagine a Porcupine is someone that a creature that can run relatively fast, and Sable being good with hands movement, good with the crafting of things, I'm sure can catch a football.
I was thinking the same thing.
So what do you think?
I think +3 ball handling works out well.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah. There we go. In terms of offense and defense, we got to have still got to have them balance out. I think that even though she's on the offense, do you want to do like maybe a -1 offense, or
I
do a 0?
I let's do 0. I mean, I feel like every single team is going to have the offense have a bigger number overall than the defense.
Yeah,
because there's just so many offensive centric players. But we'll see how it goes over time. But
okay.
I think that's basically how it's gonna run. But we can figure it out. I actually just maybe to balance it out a little bit. We could go -1 for the offense and -2 for the defense, because I do think
I think that makes sense.
Because I think that we forget the porcupine aspect of things. That's some pokey ass shit. You got to deal with there. All right, Pitt. You know Pitt more than me. I think.
Yeah. I've seen a Let's Play of Kid Icarus Uprising. He can fly, but he usually needs the power of gods in order to do so. Usually Palutena, sometimes different gods will step in. I think he's definitely on the weaker side, probably defensively. He uses a lot of different weapons. So we could do a split, I think, between offense and ball handling. He's also really fast.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So do you want to do... I'm trying to think. Do you want to do, like... 1-1 and -2?
That's good. I'm okay with that.
Poor defense. I'm just watching this defensive stat just plummet.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll try to really balance out these like the defensive stats by giving like the defensive players like strong defensive stats, essentially.
True.
I think
and right here with because we're moving on to the offensive line, I was imagining some of them being a little more defensive as well.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ice Climbers I think are very much on the defensive side, even though they're an offensive lineman. I don't consider their ball handling to be very strong, because I don't really think they're going to handle the ball that much. No. Also, for disclosure, Ice Climbers is a old SNES game. I want to say SNES or NES game. Was a platformer, a vertical platformer. With two in the Ice Climbers, they're 2 characters, but they work as a unit. Frequently. So Ice Climbers is I'm gonna say their defense, because they're defending things. I'm gonna say their defense is gonna be on the let's do 3 or 4, make it strong.
I was even thinking 4 for them.
4. Let's do 4.
Yeah.
And then let's just do -2 for both offense.
-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Yep.
All right. I'll take this one. Corrin from another Fire Emblem character. This one, I don't know much of Corrin from the main games, other than they are very blandly written, which upsets me, because the character themselves can turn into a fucking dragon, and they wrote it so fucking poorly.
Well, I'm sorry. That's the case.
Yeah, it's fine.
What do you think? What do you think is the next step for this? What do you think is, the stats are for Corrin?
Let's see. I think that we could do negative ball handling.
Okay.
just because in dragon form at least they wouldn't have hands to hold on to ball.
That's a valid
and
point.
They're protecting anyway. And we could do a mix of positives for offensive defense, like if we did +2 offense, +1 defense, and -3 ball handling or something like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay,
I'm down for that.
Cool.
All right. You could also take the next one because I don't know
Empoleon
that well.
So Empoleon is a water seal Pokemon. It is a penguin. It's very defensive. Can do some offensive stuff. Oh, we're onto the defense now. Ice Climbers and Corner were both offensive line. We're on the defense now.
Yeah, this is the defense players now.
Yeah, so defensive players, good defensive stats. It uses basically like the fact that it can use water moves. Like everyone knows what fucking Squirtle using Water Gun looks like. And also like being a seal type, like it's metal, it's hard, it's protective, and it has these big fucking flipper wings that it can use to try to stop people. So its defense is going to be really good, I feel.
Yeah, so let's make this a 5 or 6 thing. I feel like you have to, if these are defensive players, we have to make it, I think, really strong defense to kind of balance everything else out. So
yeah, I don't think Empoleon is quite at the level in defensively and to be a 6. I'd be okay with 4 or 5.
Let's go for 5.
Okay.
And then spread out the, like, do you think that maybe I would say maybe like -2 offense, -3 ball handling.
Yeah.
Is kind of like that kind of works out because I think Pokemon are always on the offensive as well.
True.
So that probably balances it out much better.
Yeah, depends on the Pokemon. We may see some Pokemon that are definitely more defensive based and not good at offense at all.
Okay. All right.
I forget exactly what Pokemon we have in here, but
all right. All right. Sakura. This is another one. This is another Danganronpa one, and I cannot even get a clear photo of Sakura here. But it looks like she's like a big buff.
Yes, very buff.
Like, my goodness.
Yeah.
She looks like she can like pick me up with her pinky and like fling me across the room, and I would
agree with that sentiment.
And I'd be totally okay with it. So I will. So I think that this is going to be our strongest defensive individual on this team.
So even like a +6 on defense.
I think let's do a +6.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do -3s on the other.
Okay.
On everywhere else. And in terms of Sakura, in terms of, I don't know anything about her backstory. Apparently, she has a tragedy.
Her title is Ultimate Martial Artist, so that fits her appearance.
There you go, perfect. Yeah, and she looks like she kicks ass. So
yeah,
defense indeed. All right, and last defensive player is Inkling.
So Inkling, I don't think, based on kind of how we've been doing things, I don't think they're going to have a super high defensive stat, but they're going to have a really good ball handling stat.
Okay.
To kind of be like a cornerback type.
Sure. So
do you want to do 4 in ball handling?
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll do -2 defense, -2 offense.
Sure.
Okay.
That could be your cornerback type player. That would go in and catch them balls at that point. All right.
Talk about Bayonetta while I try to put in a formula to add all of this up for me.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know a lot about Bayonetta either, my friend.
Well,
but here's why I know. Bayonetta is a witch. And it has her own series, Bayonetta. I believe there is a Bayonetta 2, and the Bayonetta 3 is coming out either later this year or 2021, as far as I understand.
It's been announced.
Yeah.
I don't know much else beyond that.
Yeah. So like Bayonetta was kind of like she's one of the two surviving Umbra witches, is what the term is. We talked about her a little bit in the draft episode, so it's kind of good that we don't have to go too much into it. But essentially, like she's been serving the gods that kind of end up being like deceptive and stuff. As far as I understand, like her gameplay involves magic and also guns. So good shit.
Sweet.
And she's super tall with the good old kicking stat. So as a kicker, as we've learned from last episode with Matt Walsh here, that the ball handling is big for the kicking. So,
absolutely.
So do we want to do a 5, 4, 4, 5? Like, what's your thoughts on the ball handling?
Yeah, I'm fine with I'm fine with either of those.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do 4. We'll do 4 similar to Inkling, and we'll just do -2 across the board.
Okay.
Or offense and defense.
Cool. All right. I couldn't get the formula to work. I'll try to do that for the next one, but for now, let's see. 2 plus 4. So the offensive stats for the team: 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, minus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11, minus 2 is 9, plus 2 is 11, minus 2 is 9, minus 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4, minus 2 is 2. That is a plus 2 modifier to their offense.
Okay.
Defense, -1, minus 2 is -3. Minus 3 is -6, minus 3 is -9, minus 2 is -11, minus 2 is -13, plus 4 is 9, plus 1, -9, plus 1 is -8, plus 5 is -3, plus 6 is 3, minus 2 is 1, minus 2 is -1, -1 modifier for defense.
Okay.
And then ball handling, we have -1, minus 2 is -3, 0 is -3, plus 1 is -2, plus 3 is 1, plus 1 is... Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's 2. It's 2.
To where I am now?
2. So it's -1 plus -2 is -3.
Yes.
Plus 3 is 0. Plus 1 is 2.
Okay.
And then
yes.
-2 is 0. Again.
Yeah. Okay. So then -2 to -5 to -8 to -11. To +4 to +4. So that is a -3 modifier to ball handling.
All right.
Which may be like one of the most extreme stats. We'll see how everything else plays out. But this is an offensive team that drops the ball a lot.
Yeah, we'll see, because and again, we're gonna do this on camera as much as possible. But as we go on and as we find out about the other teams, we'll try to balance things out a little bit, try to figure out any stats. But right now, we're just kind of like assigning the stats initially. Then maybe we'll go back and kind of review everything as well.
Yeah,
we'll do that. What's the time on the episode? Okay, we're almost reaching an hour. Do you think we could do one more?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So we're moving on to the Mansfield Weavers.
Yes.
So the first player on this list is a quarterback, and one that I don't know if too many people know about. His name is Mario.
It's a me.
It's a me.
Mario.
The Mario. I mean, really, do we even have to? I don't think we even have to say anything about Mario. He's the most iconic video game character of all time. Known for his platforming games, and is a plumber who says, "It's a me, Mario.
It's a me."
And let's go. So
let's go. Okay, so Mario was kind of known, and this is kind of taking more from his spin-off games than anything else, but he's kind of known as like the jack of all trades, master of none. He's like the average stats in Mario and Sonic. He's the middle of the road character in Mario Kart. He's a very like neutral character in Smash Bros. Like Mario is just the standard type of character. So we shouldn't go very far in either direction.
Okay.
For much.
Yeah.
Like even if we just did +1 offense, -1 defense, and 0 ball handling.
I'm in agreement with you on that. Yeah, Mario is kind of like great and everything. Wait, what was the expression?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes, that definitely describes Mario.
Which is still better than a master of one. By the way, is the rest of that statement. A lot of people just like to use that first one and say that it's a bad thing. It's not. It's good to have experience in many different things.
Indeed, my friend. That's
also
a life lesson.
In another version of phrases that people leave that people what's it called? Truncate. The phrase "blood is thicker than water." The full phrase is "blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb." So, your chosen family is more important than your regular family. Obviously, your regular family, the bonds you choose are more important than the bonds you're born with.
I never actually knew that full expression, so that's a good one. I like that because people are like, blood is thicker than water. So what? Well, okay, well, I can hate my fucking uncle, especially if he's like doing horrible things.
If your family sucks,
yeah,
don't deal with them.
Yeah, so all right. There's a lot of big words in that expression, but I'll try to remember that for
blood of the covenant.
The covenant.
So like marriage I think is that analogy is thicker than the water of the womb.
Of the womb.
Birthing.
I see. Okay. What's Ratchet? Let's talk about Ratchet. The first running back on
yes,
on
first running back. Mario was the only quarterback on this team.
Yes.
Running back. Did we say the GMs?
We did talk about it last time, but we can bring it up again. East Chicago was Jess. And this is Ricky's team, the Mansfield.
Yes, Ricky's team, the Mansfield. Okay, so Ratchet is from Ratchet and Clank. He is a mechanic. He is a Lombax. It's a cat-like alien. And uses his wrench for many things, including most of his combat, as well as a lot of general weapons. He's also short, so that may play into things.
Do you think, this is really going off subject, do you think that the female Ratchet that they showed in the trailer for the new game is just going to be Ratchet, but like with it's spelled with a E-T-T-E at the end?
Ratchet. One, I hope not. Two, there was a female Lombax character in Ratchet and Clank 2, and she was tall and like sexualized, they made sure that she was a woman. Let me look up a picture.
So they had to but that's because that's what all video games have.
Right, but it's like here is woman, and this is the if we're going off of it, this is what female Lombaxes look like, and that's not what she looked like. So either they forgot that this character existed, she's an alternate version of Lombaxes in general, because I think there's something about different dimensions and alternate universes in the game I don't know fully, or she's trans, in which case, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So let us let's break down the Ratchet the stats for Ratchet, because I want to actually get into the Ratchet games. I've never actually played any of them. But
it's the one PS2 platformer trilogy that I haven't played. I've seen Let's Plays of it, so I know what it's about.
Yeah, I definitely want to get more into it. What's the how would you describe his style? Is it more offensive or more defensive?
It really depends. He's really good at a lot of things. Part of the game is upgrading and equipping his armor. Really good with artillery and stuff. I would definitely say though that being the gun game, it's definitely a more offensive style.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a +3 in offense.
Yeah, perfect. I'm down for that.
And then I'm not sure about ball handling or defense for him.
I mean, I feel like if because we are sticking to the 6 maximum of stats essentially.
Yeah.
So I would say if we were gonna put the 0 anywhere here, I would prefer it to be on the defense, just because I think that for him, it just makes more sense that he's a little bit stronger defensively than ball handling.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So -3 ball handling then?
Yep. Let's do it. And what we're going to notice, too, as we do this is that, like, the patterns are going to be very similar in terms of, okay, we're going to put 2 here. Okay, that means we have to put either a -2 here or just spread out -1s or something like that. Like, there's patterns that are going to be very similar in terms of, like, when we put the initial stat down.
If we did, we probably explained this in the setup. All of the character stats have to add up to 0.
Yeah.
Which the Blacksmiths total score did not add up to 0, so I'm going to redo that math after the episode. I don't need to do it right now.
Yeah. Well, if you just have to add across the board, essentially. Like across each stat. So like Robin would be, you have to add 2 plus -1 plus -1. As long as that equals 0 and everyone else equals 0, then that's kind of like...
Yeah, and they all do, but it's weird that the total stats don't add up to 0. So I'm just gonna look at that and make sure that math exists correctly.
No, that's how it's not supposed to add up the it's not like the if you add up the offense, all the offensive stats, those are not we're not balancing out all the offensive stats.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that 2 and -1 and -3 don't add up to 0.
I don't think that's what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
But all right,
I want to look just in case, because it's weirding me out math wise. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We'll get it figured out.
All right. So let's move on here to the next running back. For Mansfield Weavers is Atreus from the God of War series. What I understand of God of War, because I've seen a few gameplay of it. Atreus is kind of the son of Kratos, who kind of is the kid who runs around, kind of gets into small spaces in order for Kratos to kind of continue on his journey. Is the son, the part god for sure, is trying to grow up to be like his dad. So him and his father have similar traits in a way, but Atreus, I think, seems to have more of a personality, in my opinion. Now, for him, I would say like he's pretty, like I would say like ball handling would be pretty strong for him.
I think so.
In all things considered. So I'll say give him like either like a 2 or 3.
Let's do 2.
Okay.
Offense or defense based on that?
I think that we could do -2 for defense, 0 for offense.
Okay, I think that works out.
Considering a small statue, I feel like defense is where Kratos would kind of try to step in.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, wide receivers. First up, the blue blur himself, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I believe it or not, I mean, I haven't really played a ton of Sonic games. In fact, as far as I know, I think I've only played like 1.
He's got an attitude.
Yeah, it's a hedgehog with an attitude, goes really fast. I mean, that's basically the gist of Sonic.
Yeah.
As would you consider Sonic a platformer?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a platform. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So that's the gist of Sonic right there. I mean, I would just have a strong offense stat for Sonic for his ability for speed.
Honestly, I wrote a 4, and I might even go 5 for Sonic, with the idea that he's super fast, but he's super bad at holding on to the ball.
Go for it. Let's do it.
So you could do 5 for offense, -2 for ball handling, -3 defense.
Yeah, that works.
Cool.
Yeah, especially since the moment he gets hit, all his rings leave his body.
Yes.
Every single one, which is it's one of the most absurd mechanics that I have ever seen in games whenever I watch a Sonic game. I'm like, what the hell? Alright. Okay, my god.
What the fuck did we do with Flappy Bird?
I forgot that Flappy Bird was drafted. Alright, so for those who don't know Flappy Bird, it was basically a a month sensation.
2014 hellscape. Viral hellscape that caused the creator to enter a depressive state and remove the game from mobile stores.
And there's been many rip-offs of said game.
And then after that happened, cell phones that had Flappy Bird installed on them went for thousands of dollars on eBay.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Simpler times.
So Flappy Bird is the gist of Flappy Bird is that the bird, you're trying to keep the bird moving through a bunch of pipes. When I say through pipes, I basically mean there's
the
pipes.
Mario pipes.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mario pipes where there's a pipes on that they're coming from the top or coming from the bottom. You want to squeeze through the middle part. And keep the bird alive for as long as possible. So, man, I don't know what to do for this guy. I mean, I think I want to keep it medium stats overall. I don't want to do anything too extreme for Flappy Bird. I feel like, although I don't know, the fact that he's kind of like Sonic, where the moment he hits anything, he's just fucking dead, is kind of wild. But wait, we could do. Let's do 3 for ball handling, -3 for defense, 0 for offense. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
I think he's handling himself well. But he's just but he's just still very low defense. All right.
Now we get into the next 5 picks are so beefy.
This is beefy boy territory. This is
beefy boy territory.
This is when the defenses start to stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
And we start with Frank West, the beefy journalist from the Dead Rising series, who kind of spent his entire duration as a playable character in the mall. Right? Is that's that Dead Rising, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And so as far as I understand about Frank West, he kind of has that super nonsensical, edgy attitude towards things. Which every Dead Rising character, at least that's on the comedic side of things, kind of ends up being. I think that he's definitely on the defensive side more than the offensive side. So
absolutely,
I would say either a 3 or 4 for the defense.
Let's do 3, since they still are on the offense.
Okay, and I'll do we could do -3 for offense, 0 for ball handling, just because I consider him handling weaponry, handling things, being a lot stronger than maybe the attack. Maybe.
I'm down with that.
All right, Chris
Redfield up next is from Resident Evil, multiple games in the series.
The Resident Evil is definitely a blind spot for me as well.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about it. I mean, they all work for little same organization.
Let's do some little quick research into Chris Redfield and his existence. He's also a beefy boy, a tall guy.
Yep.
He's basically he's been a playable character, or just generally has existed. His partner is Jill Valentine, who was also drafted in the league, in some place. I forget which team. He's was part of Code Veronica, was one of the Resident Evil games, and he's one of the main characters in the Umbrella Chronicles. as well. I'm trying to see. He's a blunt, tough guy type, attempting. Admitting that. Actually, no, never mind. This is quoting the designer saying that he's a fan of the archetype. Yeah, he's designed to be physically tougher, and he's able to run faster and is able to absorb more damage, which is, I think, kind of part of the course of why the offensive line makes sense for Chris Redfield here.
I think so too.
All right, I say strong defensive stat, maybe like a 4 here.
Yeah, I think 4 fits.
And then
-2.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, Captain Falcon is up next on the offensive line from F-Zero. He is a racer, another beefy boy. Captain Falcon, I think, is going to be the more offensive on the offensive line.
Okay.
We could do 2-1 and -3, 2 offense, 1 defense minus 2 offense, 1 defense -3 ball handling, something like that.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
I really want to try the F-Zero games. I just wish they made them still.
Yeah, they're also they are really fucking hard.
Oh, they are? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, maybe I'll reconsider, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, you may want to.
Yeah. All right. So 2-1 -3 is pretty good. Let's move on to Kano here. Kano is from Mortal Kombat. Has kind of insane. He's part of, well, I mean, that most characters from Mortal Kombat kind of are.
Yeah.
He is known as being a mercenary, a member of the crime cartel known as the Black Dragon. One of his eyes is basically a laser eye. Just brutal in all stretches of the imagination. It's just absolutely brutal. This is also the first of our defensive players on the Mansfield Weavers.
Yes.
Here. So, I think in terms of attacking people and stopping them from getting somewhere, I would say he probably has a strong defensive stat.
I would say so too. Do you want to do a 5?
Let's do it.
Okay.
And then -2 offense, -3 ball handling.
Sounds good to me. This team does not have good ball handling.
Yeah. This is I think this is going to be a trial period of seeing how all these stats kind of balance out, and if things look weird, then we'll go back.
Teams are going to have strengths and weaknesses, but I want it to all work out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next up is M. Bison.
Yes, that's a Street Fighter character. It looks like a soldier of sorts, he looks like a pilot, actually. So he looks like. He's the primary antagonist of the entire Street Fighter series. First appearing as a non-playable boss in Street Fighter 2 before becoming playable in its update Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. He's a self-imposed dictator and megalomaniac seeking world domination. It's just him, like just like dancing to Megalovania.
Yeah.
All right. So again, another beefy boy, the dictator, which is very problematic in many ways, but we try to look over those things in the league. So he's I would guess that he will try to. He's someone who defends his country, maybe not the people in it, but defends himself at least. So, and will be very aggressive about it. I would put a 4 or 5 for his defense here.
Let's do 4. Let's maybe we can not dunk on ball handling this time.
Sure. So you want to do like a -3 or -4 for offense?
Yeah, let's do -1 ball handling and -3 offense.
Okay.
This is going to be a very defensive team.
Yes.
Which I kind of felt after I saw it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, next up, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic's rival, playing on the same team. And how much do you think it stings for Shadow that the team colors are Sonic?
And that Sonic is on the team with him.
And that Sonic is on the team, too.
Yeah. So he's got...
I think in similar logic to Inkling, Shadow's going to be more of a cornerback type player.
I just made a joke that was quiet, and I wish I said it louder.
I didn't hear it.
I said that Sonic is gonna overshadow him.
Oh my god, dude! You should have said that louder. You should have said that louder. You should have made that more obvious.
I know. I
was talking over you, which is part of the problem, but
I didn't think of it. I didn't I was just saying it without even notice. I didn't notice that it was even what I was saying, and then I said it, and I was just like, "Oh, that's good. That's some good sauce right there. Got pour on some more."
Oh my god!
All right. So Shadow is he's Edgelord Gothtron, I guess. I don't know.
What the fuck?
He's just super edgy.
Yeah.
Through and through. But yeah, so Shadow, I would just say that his I just to be the villain and defensive centric, yeah, I would say you could probably do maybe like a 3 for defense. I think that would be good to keep his maybe his offense or ball handling a little bit on the stronger side.
Okay. So defense 3.
We can do like 2 positive stats.
True.
If we wanted to do that.
What if we did defense 1 defense 2 ball handling 1 -3 offense?
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. And then Fox.
Yes, Fox McCloud from Star Fox, the pilot, who is the kicker for Mansfield.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously gonna have good ball handling. Just due to that score. So how high do you want to go for Fox? We did 4 for Bayonetta.
I would do 4 or 5 for him too.
Okay.
I mean, if we want to really kind of recover anything from this ball handling group,
True.
If you want, maybe 5 might be on the better side of things.
Yeah.
And then we can just maybe do.
I feel like he's got decent offense, so maybe
-2, -3. So
-2 offense, -3 defense.
Yeah. Man,
okay,
I'm glad that we have not gotten to the point where we've done -6 on anything.
True.
I cannot wait for that moment to come.
All right, so offensive score 1 + 3 is 4, +5 is 9, -3 is 6, -2 is 4, +2 is 6, -2 is 4, -3 is 1, -3 is -2, -2 is -4 on offense. Oofy. Defense, -1, -2 is 3, -3 is -6, -3 is -9, +3 is -6, +4 is -2, +1 is -1, +5 is 4, +4 is 8, +2 is 10, -3 is 7 on defense.
Holy mackerel.
Holy fuck.
Holy shit. Holy fuck. I think this will definitely be reviewed.
We may need to review this one.
That's okay though. That's fine. I'm okay with just keep going, and then we'll make the adjustments later.
We may have to adjust it at some point just to make it within the 6 parameter that we set.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so, and then ball handling, -3, +2 is -1, -2 is -3, +3 is 1, -2 is -1, -3 is -4, -3 is -7, -1 is -8, +1 is -7, +5 is -2. So not too bad overall for ball handling.
All right. And we'll redo the math and on anything that we see, and we can adjust stats as we go. This is all just kind of trial period. If anything, what we're doing here is just kind of introducing everyone to every single one of these players, and let you guys know a little bit about them. And yeah, feel free to give us any feedback on it using the hashtag VBBFL, and make sure to add us at Virtual Ball Boys for any thoughts on anything that we do. We will take it in stride and use it where we can. But I think that'll do it for us for this episode. So that's the first two teams. Next week we're going to do the Perth Amboy Privateers, and we'll have a return of a middle segment as well. I wanted to I want to get back to talking a little bit more NFL stuff. So maybe we'll do some, like, I don't know. We'll play like a matching game or some sort with, like, where we think NFL teams are going to end up this season, if there is a season, of course.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that further later. We will be back next week for more VBBFL and more Virtual Ball Boys goodness. With that being said, see you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.